said an awful lot. And so you've opened up a multitude of directions to go. One of the questions that I had earlier, listening to your response, is, so are you B or K, or do you alternate? And then the second question I have is based again on something that you just said. Young people today don't know who they are. My question to you is, now that you know who you are you? And why this book?
And that's what I've been asked to in my B or K. In the book,
All right, maybe you're to begin with, and K, are they alternating egos?
well, I would definitely say this. I would definitely say that I have experienced the things that B and K go through. Personally, seen it, felt it, thought about it, the whole nine. The book comes from my thinking. I did write the book, so it is my thoughts behind the book. But I do want it to be neutral because this is what young people think about all the time. When I was younger, they used to call me KB.
Okay.
Okay. I flipped it to BK. I never told anybody that.
You just shared that with us.
I just shared it.
Me and
all
Miss
right.
Carter.
And plus, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. So BK also stands for Brooklyn. So it's a hidden signature too behind that as well. Never shared it before, but now it's open to the public. Why am I the way I am? I would say.
Let me not ask, why are you the way you are? Just why are you doing what you do? And I know you have a curriculum for this book.
I do.
And I think that would be a very interesting topic to talk about.
Okay.
Why this book? Why this story?
It needs to be told. It needs to be told. No matter
whom?
how many boys in the hoods we see, no matter how many minutes to societies we see, these issues are still existing. Nothing has changed. The audience are the young people. But also the audience are everyone else. It can be the elders. It can be whites. It can be Hispanics. It can be blacks. It can be people who live in the inner city community, or it could be people who live outside of the inner city community. Because what it does is it shows you why certain things are the way they are and why young people think the way they do. And if I didn't live in the inner city community, and if I wanted to know something about something, this would be a good tool, even for the kids that they teach in these environments. Because one of the things that we struggle with is we think that sometimes they are, but most of the time they're two environments. They're separate, but they deal with the same thing. They have the same issues with drugs, with violence, with guns, same thing. Some neighborhoods are more prevalent than others, but especially for the young people, because I think with the young people, I think they really need to see by at first. If they're not listening, then they need to see by possibly being able to put themselves in the shoes of someone else. If I could,
kind of validates their stories.
It does, but also it also gives them a choice to look at life a different way as well. Because if I'm doing some of the things that they're doing in the book, I mean, the chances are that you're either going to be here or here. I mean, and there's no need to say where because we know, but I mean, it gives them a chance to say, well, hold on, let me reevaluate myself. Let me put myself in the shoes of B, or let me put myself in the shoes of K, or for the elders, it can say, well, hold on a minute, let me put myself in the shoes of the mother right here. What would I have done to save my son? You know, so he wouldn't have went down this path instead of saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Right. I mean, so it definitely can be targeted to anybody, but it's for young people. It's definitely geared towards young people.
But I think adults can get something from it too, especially the awareness and looking at what the young children go through today.
Right.
some of us are so removed. Not me, because I worked as a teacher, but some of us are so removed from what's really going on that we need something like that to show us what some of them are going through
It
on
helps.
a daily basis.
Yeah.
Well, even when your mother character is right in the middle of the scene, and she thinks that she's doing the best that she can do
Right.
by providing food
Right.
and clothes,
Right.
but she's totally disconnected from her son emotionally.
Right.
And you really make a very clear point that constantly giving out advice is not sufficient. So the mother is constantly saying, don't hang around with those guys. I don't want you with them. That's, they're going to end up dead.
Right.
And that's exactly what he does not want to hear.
No.
Now, you did give away a bit of the ending. You said everybody has a story to tell.
Right.
All of the teenagers out here have a story to tell. But neither B nor K get to tell their story.
Right.
So now we know that both of them are going to die. We're not going to say how they die. Can we not do that so that people will take the time to read the book?
Right.
So we won't say how they die.
Right.
But certainly it's very, very profound that these are young teenagers. They do die separately. And how they die, where they die, the reason that they die is at the heart, I think, of the story here.
Yeah.
For other teenagers reading the story, do you think they're going to be? Do you think they realize that they're reading themselves, or are they reading themselves?
I think it's a 50-50 there. To some young people, for some young people, I would say that for them to really look at themselves take a whole lot of work. Now they can read it, but then after they get done reading, it may make them think about it for a minute. But it's what they do with it after that really matters. Because they can read it and then continue to go out and still do the things that they do. But for some, they can read it and they can say, well, hold on, I know a B. I know a K. I'm K. I'm B. Let me hold on a minute. I like how they was getting involved in the community. I want to do that. You know? So it can make them act if they want to.
Can you give us an example of an activity from your curriculum that would help teenagers clarify their values or clarify their identity from reading this book?
Yeah. Well, throughout the curriculum, there's questions. Well, first you read each chapter. And after you read each chapter, there's questions to follow, and from those questions is based on the chapter. So, for example, in the curriculum, you have chapters of lifestyle, you have environments, you have choices, you have the mental state of being, you have relationships. So out of these chapters in the curriculum. Is depending on what kind of questions and things are being followed. So, for example, say chapter 1 is lifestyle. There will be questions to ask them about B&K lifestyle. Is it kind of similar to yours? Do you know anything or anybody who experienced what they felt or what they've been through? And then from there, you have your critical thinking. It really makes them look at themselves more and put themselves in the shoes of B&K. Then there's a group discussion to follow, and journal writing, which is more of just a reflective stage. So they really get a chance to not only read it, but to think after that, and to write after that, and to really put themselves in the shoes of those characters and in those situations. So each chapter has that, and then at the end of the chapters, once you get done, and this is optional. Some schools choose to do it, and some don't. What you can do is students can put together a public event. And the public event is formed to either changing your school environment or your community environment. And that can be as simple as doing a community cleanup, doing a youth rally, anything to that nature. But what the students would do is because it's still a process, it's an organizing process that goes into it, and they identify 3 things that they would like to target. Either if it's related to the schools, they might say violence in the schools, they might say drugs in the schools, and they might say teachers, for example, sitting at their desk talking about I get paid whether if you learn or not. I mean, so that could be an issue that they choose to do. Or for the environment, it can be gangs, it can be drugs, it can be homelessness. Just for example. So what they do is they come up with prevention and intervention strategies on how they would combat that. And from there, they have their public event, and they open it up to the public, and they let the public know what it is that they would like to change and how they're going to go about doing that. And then it's kind of up to the school and whoever is in charge to kind of keep that process up after it's been established. So.